Payday. You open your phone instantly, you see that 4-digit number, and for exactly 3 seconds, you feel incredibly rich. Just 3 seconds. Then the brain kicks in, there is rent, there's a car noise, there's a birthday next week, and by the time Thursday rolls around, the only things left in your hands are ramen and the promise of I'll fix it when the beginning of the month comes. Here is the interesting part. This feeling was exactly the same in 1630. It was the same in 1922. Only the numbers changed. That 3-second feeling of freedom mixed with fear always remained the same. As you know, I am a bald man in a blue t-shirt, but you can simply call me the bald man, and you know that I spend way too much time on these matters, both in the archives and with a calculator. And I can say this, humanity's relationship with money has never been this consistent throughout history. We consistently make the exact same mistake. If you are someone who thinks history doesn't just stay in books, but is actually still lived out in bank accounts today, subscribe and decide at the end whether this video was worth watching until the end. I am also making the like conditional. If this video changes your perspective on money, then press that button. Every generation thinks they have finally solved money, not improved it, solved it. With charts, with new theory, with a deep belief they have tamed risk. And every single time, history waits. Because behind the tools, behind the models, behind every structure that looked clever, there's only one thing that never changed: human behavior. And human behavior is blindly loyal to its own illusion. In 17th century Amsterdam, Dutch merchants convinced themselves that tulip bulbs had stopped being an agricultural product and had formed a new asset class. Prices decoupled from utility, logic followed the price, and those who questioned this were labeled as not understanding the market. 300 years later, investors said the exact same thing for radio stocks in the 1920s, for conglomerates in the 1960s, for dot-coms in the 1990s, for housing in the early 2000s, different centuries, different assets, identical logic. What changes is not the illusion itself, but the costume it wears. But right here, everything takes a strange turn, because these illusions do not survive because they are explicitly wrong. They survive because they worked emotionally. When the belief in permanent growth, actually the idea that tomorrow will always be bigger than today, is presented not as an effort, but as the natural output of the system, people adopt it like a law. Empires adopted it, corporations adopted it, governments still adopt it. And once growth becomes an assumption, everything that threatens it is framed as a temporary glitch, a correctable deviation. Crises are written into history as a surprise, but there was nothing truly surprising in any crisis of history. It was just that nobody wanted to look. What about you? What exactly do you do every month when the salary arrives? You send it to the landlord, you go to the grocery store, you fill up the vehicle, you get your coffee, you pay the minimum amount to the credit card. And at the end of the month, if anything is left over, maybe you will save. I will save from what's left over. This might be the most expensive sentence in human history. The mathematical truth is this: if you try to save from what's left over, nothing is ever left over. Expenses always expand to completely fill the income. This is not a character flaw. This is basic economics. This is how human nature works. Wealthy people do something different. First, they swallow the frog. You know Brian Tracy's book, Eat That Frog. The concept is brutally simple. Do the hardest, most important task first. In finance, the frog is this: the moment your salary hits the account, before paying a single bill, pay yourself. Send it to the investment account. Send it to the emergency fund. Oh no, send it to your future. Solve everything else with the remaining money. Can the landlord wait? No, but you don't always have to work for the bank either. Now I hear this: bald man, rent is already 60% of my income. How am I going to pay myself? This is exactly the point we need to talk about, because if the ratio of your mandatory expenses to your income exceeds 60%, this is not an income problem, it is a lifestyle problem. And lifestyle problems have lifestyle solutions. Maybe a roommate, maybe a different car, maybe a different neighborhood. Math has no respect for emotion. This is painful, but this is also true. But right here, everything takes a strange turn. Every great financial illusion in history was born at exactly this point. My situation is different. These two words, this time is different, have caused more disasters in history than bad math. New York bankers said it in the 1920s. Silicon Valley investors said it in the 1990s. And every morning, millions of people look at their bank apps and say it. Each of their beliefs was sincere. The end of each was familiar. The illusion that complexity brings security along with it also comes into play here. As financial systems grow, this belief quietly settles into place. Complexity equals security. It is as if slicing, modeling, enduring, and distributing risk somehow eliminates it. Yet complexity does not destroy risk, it redistributes it. It hides it, it makes it invisible. When no one fully understands the system anymore, fear decreases. And when fear decreases, prudence goes right after it. If complexity prevented disaster, history's most sophisticated financial systems wouldn't collapse in such a dramatic fashion. But they collapse. They collapse at regular intervals. The same thing applies to personal finance. Most people don't really know their expenses at all. They have a rough idea. Money comes in, money goes out, but they can't tell you exactly where it goes. This is like trying to lose weight without ever stepping on a scale. If you get lucky, maybe it works, but most likely it won't. You have to know where every dollar goes, every coffee, every subscription, every impulse purchase at the register. I am not banning these. penalties. I want you to be conscious about them because unconscious spending is the enemy of wealth building. If you don't know where the money goes, it goes everywhere except where it needs to be. Money order has a sequence, just like in math. If you do the sequence wrong, you reach the wrong result. Step 1, pay yourself. Before it enters the salary account, let it go to the investment account transfer. Let it go before it arrives. Let it go before it is seen. Let it go before the opportunity to spend arises. Step 2, make minimum payments on all debts on time. I am not saying pay the whole debt, I am saying stay current. Your credit score is one of your most valuable assets. A single delay can cause what you built carefully for years to collapse. Do not skip credit card payments to invest. Don't do it. While interest on mortgages hovers between 2 and 3%, credit card late penalties leave it far. Step 3, emergency fund. This is not for vacation, not for going out. When the car breaks down, when the job is lost, when life demands extra fees. 3 to 6 months of mandatory expenses need to sit in a boring, high-yield deposit account. Not in the stock market, not in crypto. Boring and liquid. When there is no emergency fund, every unexpected expense becomes a financial crisis. Car maintenance goes to the credit card, the phone breaks down, and a new one is bought with installments. The cat gets sick, and money is borrowed from a friend. Every crisis pushes you one step further away from wealth, deeper into the debt spiral. But when that fund stands there, something like a miracle happens. Crises turn into inconveniences. The car needs maintenance. You write a check. Life goes on. No drama, no credit card debt. The plan is not broken. Now let's pause here. In the mid-1970s, the world's central banks thought everything would be fine. Inflation was a modelable thing. Monetary policy was sufficiently advanced. The system could now manage itself. Then inflation rose to 20%. A simple truth emerged. The complexity of the system had exceeded the capacity of human decisions to manage that system. The illusion of control was more convincing than reality itself, and that image comforted people. That's why they paid a lot of money for the image. Step 4, invest for retirement. Whether you are 22 or 52, it doesn't matter. This step is not optional. I'll start when I grow up. This is also among the most expensive sentences in England. $100 a month at age 25, assuming a 7% return, turns into $260,000 by the time you reach 65. If you start at the same amount at 35, it's $130,000. By waiting 10 years, you give away half of your retirement savings. Time beats money most of the time, and you cannot buy back time. If your company matches the retirement contribution and you are not contributing enough, you are rejecting free money. A 3% match is $1,500 a year on a $50,000 salary. With compound interest over 30 years, this figure is nearly $300,000. You spend more than 10 a month on things you don't remember, but you say, I can't afford it, to the money you will need for 30 years. Do not make investing complex. Do not pick individual stocks. Do not time the market. Do not find the next Tesla. Buy an S&P 500 index fund. Don't touch it. Live your life. This index survived the Great Depression, the Second World War, and countless crises, providing an average return of 10% over the last 90 years. In the 80th year, there were still those looking for the next crisis predictor with the same impatience, and the index outpaced them too. Complexity was not the symbol of intelligence. Simplicity was the symbol of discipline. Step 5, attack non-mortgage debt. There are 2 methods, snowball or avalanche. Snowball. Start with the smallest debt, pay it. Add that payment to the next one. You gain a psychological victory. Avalanche. Start with the highest interest debt. Mathematically, you pay less interest. Choose whichever suits you and do not change it. Most people fail almost most of the time by changing strategy. They go with the snowball method for 3 months, read an article, and switch to avalanche. Then a guru says prioritize investing. They try to do them all at the same time and cannot do any of them effectively. Choose one method. Write it down. Apply it until all non-mortgage debts are gone. But right here, everything takes a strange turn. Historically, the most dangerous moment is not inside a crisis. The most dangerous moment is the moment of confidence. The moment when the belief is born that the system has gone beyond its own history. The feeling that risk is now mastered. The consensus that warnings are in the past and skeptics simply don't understand. In 2006, those who spoke pessimistically about the housing market were labeled as idiots. In 1999, those who questioned the dot-com bubble were told they don't understand the market. In 1636, those who said a tulip bulb couldn't be this valuable received the same treatment. The costume changed, the sentence always remained the same. If history didn't shake things up periodically, economic history would be boring, linear, predictable. But markets are not machines, they are a mirror. They reflect fear, optimism, greed, denial, and hope all at the same time. And when enough people believe in the same comforting story, the illusion turns into a consensus, then into a structure, then into what is called how it works. The exact same cycle operates in personal finance as well. The vast majority of people who do not try to save do it not out of stupidity, but out of lack of memory. They forget what they felt in the last crisis, that feeling of panic, that I wish I had been prepared moment, and then life returns to normal. The system starts rewarding again, and the precautionary measure starts to feel like friction. The thought, I am too cautious, comes, and systemic collapse begins not with collective stupidity, but with collective amnesia. New actors come into play, They haven't experienced the previous failure. They haven't felt that fear. They inherited the reward, not the scar. To them, warnings sound like myths of a less developed age. What do you do when you get a raise? Most people inflate their lifestyle. A better car, a bigger apartment, going out more frequently. In a few months, the raise is completely gone, but the person simply cannot understand why they still feel tight. Arrange the system like this. Let 50% of the increase boost your savings and investment rate. Let 25% increase your debt repayment speed. Let 25% improve your quality of life if you want. This way, as you earn more, you truly get richer. You don't just become more expensive. When you finish a debt, that payment does not disappear. It goes to the next debt or to the investment account. The payment does not vanish, its duty changes. People who get rich without receiving large salaries do exactly this. They understand that every dollar has a job, and as circumstances change, that job changes. The best part of this system is this: you work independently of how much you earn. Whether it is $30,000 or $300,000, the principles are the same. First, pay yourself. Know where every dollar goes. Protect your credit. Build an emergency fund. Invest in your future. Destroy debt. Adjust as circumstances change. It's not attractive. It is not revolutionary. It won't make you rich overnight, but it makes you rich eventually. Eventually is better than never. Now I'm telling you the most important thing. Most people find this system restrictive. They think budgeting ruins life. This is wrong. Budgeting is not restriction. It is intention. The difference between a poor person and a rich person is not that the rich person doesn't spend money on enjoyable things. The difference is this: the rich decide in advance what they will spend on, and then they spend it with zero guilt because it is part of the plan. When you set up the system, when every bill is paid, when the fund grows, and you allocate 50 liras for entertainment for that week, you can spend that 50 liras with complete peace of mind. You're not stealing your future. You are using it as part of the plan. Most people do the exact opposite of this. First, they spend on entertainment, then they wonder if they can pay the bills, then they panic because there are no savings, then they feel guilt for every expenditure. This is not living. It is financial anxiety wearing the mask of life. When you swallow the frog first, when you handle the most important financial task first, something interesting happens in the brain. Instead of a feeling of deprivation, a feeling of competence arrives. Instead of the feeling that money controls you, you control the money. You lean toward and start making decisions not from scarcity, but from abundance. What happens if you don't swallow the frog? You wait to save from what's left over at the end of the month. You see investment not as a priority, but as a residue, and you gradually become a financial procrastinator. I'll start next month. I'll start when the raise comes. I'll start after paying off this credit card tomorrow, but tomorrow doesn't come. Next month turns into next year. The raise goes to lifestyle inflation. The credit card closes and opens again because the spending habits that created it are still standing right there. And you wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment to start getting rich does not come because you are constantly waiting. Now, we have come to the most painful irony of history. Every generation says they learn from the mistakes of the previous one. In the wake of crises, they build safeguards. They write regulation. They say it won't happen again. But memory fades much faster than the collapsed structures. Over time, safeguards are reframed as obstacles. Rules start to look inefficient. Prudence is found excessive. What used to be protection is now friction. And quietly, the illusion regains ground. This is not something that applies only to governments and central banks. The same cycle operates in the financial life of every individual. The person who pays off their first credit card debt says it won't happen again. A few years later, they are faced with the same balance. The person who first learns panic saving soon says, can't I loosen up a bit now? And slowly, the system restores itself. What history teaches is not to predict the future. That urge, the desire to foresee the next crisis, is another illusion carrying the mask of preparation. History is much more useful as a mirror than as a crystal ball. And in that mirror, we constantly see the same thing. How easily people trade long-term resilience for short-term comfort. How quickly prudence erodes after stability starts to feel normal. That the systems built to manage risk turn over time into systems designed to postpone it. And these postponements always bring a price. Financial freedom does not come by timing the markets or skipping cycles. It comes by understanding where illusions live and refusing to build your life completely inside them. From realizing that systems are shaped by incentive, not intention. From seeing that policies are constrained by politics, and understanding that complexity usually hides fragility instead of eliminating it. And perhaps most importantly, from humility, from accepting that no era is immune, no structure is ever permanent, no intelligence is enough to override human nature. History does not immediately punish ignorance. It waits. It allows confidence to be rebuilt. It allows new stories to form. Then it takes what is it. Those who suffer the most are not those who never believed in the illusion. It is those who believe that the illusion had finally vanished. So on this payday, first pay yourself. Set up the system. And remember this: history does not tell you what will happen in the future, but it shows you where you stand. Always, what you do when you see it is up to you. If you want to know this, exactly what costume the next illusion of the system is wearing, and how to protect it in personal finance, the next video is exactly for you.